Good morning. Welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot. I'm just doing a quick check-in today. Check-in on the energies. We've had a lot of planetary changes in the last 48 hours, and this time period's been pretty unique. And it's setting the stage for a lot of changes for us in the next month or so. So I just wanted to talk about these energies that we're stepping into and what's going on. And I also think it's really important at this time to stay connected in some way, shape, or form. You know, if you are stuck in the house, limited contact with people, getting kind of tired of Netflixing and Pinteresting, and I think it's really important to watch how you're using this time and to really honor yourself and let yourself rest, because that's the best way to build up your immune system as well. But maybe laying on the couch isn't the answer. Maybe starting a workout routine in your home, or other things that will allow the blood to keep moving. Because the sun is in Aries now, and it's really important to honor yourself and your body and your strength in a really healthy manner. We have so much Mars energy right now. Jupiter exasperating the Mars. Mars in Capricorn, which is so much determination and the need to excel and go after the changes that we want and these opportunities. But then we have this very different energy with Saturn now in Aquarius. Well, Saturn has taken the delays and some of the roadblocks away from wherever Capricorn is in your chart, which was helpful. As Mars goes through there, now we could see great change, but great change might come from great loss. But now that Saturn moves into Aquarius, the restrictions, roadblocks, and delays are about the way that we connect with others. So it's not a surprise that we are into social distancing, because Aquarius is where you're forced to kind of disconnect at a personal level and look at things from a more humanitarian place. Aquarius brings tremendous innovation. So we will find ways to reconnect. We will find ways to make that a priority. It's just that it's being changed at this time. And you kind of have to allow this first introduction of Saturn into Aquarius to point out all of the ways in which we aren't connecting. It will make it very obvious by being forced or limited in some way at this time, if it involves relationship issues you're going through. You may be forced to take a time out, or you may be forced to spend an extended amount of time with that person in your home, having the choice, no other choice but to have the conversations and connect. So we're learning a lot of lessons about how we connect with others at this time. And then we're going to learn how to correct it, how to feel freedom. Aquarius always brings a little bit of freedom, and there's Uranus. When Uranus is involved, it's connecting to relationships and jobs and places in our life where we can freely be ourselves, where we could freely express ourselves. There's this need to be safe in who we are. It's not so important, when it's in the earth sign, it's all about our structures, our foundation, our finances. But when it moves over to an air sign, it gets a little bit more about our connections with others, our able to be ourselves, creativity, innovation, interventions, inventions, not interventions, although also interventions. So that's important themes that we're working on at this time. And you have to remember that Mercury is still making its way through Pisces and Neptune. It's still in its retrograde shadow, so we're still learning things that happened in the past during that retrograde period. So things are going to come to the surface, and right up into the new moon in Aries, it's going to be all about the way that we communicate with others. It's going to be all about the news we get and how we perceive it, and it's going to be all about letting the boundaries go. So this gets a little complicated because the moon moves into a dark moon phase in Pisces over Mercury and Neptune. So there's a need to find the truth, a need to understand what's truly going on. But I think that a lot of us are watching the news at this time, looking for the answers. And I think the answers are being censored. I think the truth is being censored and hidden. In a way, I feel as though as a collective, we are being somewhat protected from the truth, but really the protection from the truth turns out to be the biggest threat to us. So a dark moon in Pisces could bring more information to light, or it could bring to light all of the information we really don't know, the answers we can't get. This is when we start to question our structures, our news media outlets, and we start to express our dissatisfaction, our discontent. This is also a time of awakening. It's awakening us from this complacency, this boredom, okay? This is a really significant time because we spend a lot of time in the doing, the everyday routines, the taking the kids to school, making dinner, doing the grocery shops, and everything is changing now. And it's forcing us to have to look for things that we need and love in other places than we normally do. And that just happens to be where the gifts truly are. And I think that you need to rely a great deal on gratitude and the feeling of gratitude and how much more that will serve you at this time. If you could focus on, you know, and I'm not saying ignore that it's a rough time, ignore that people are going through tremendous financial issues, tremendous health issues, great loss, and I don't undermine that in any way, shape, or form. And as an energy and a light worker and an energy healer, believe me, I spend a tremendous amount of time healing those energies and sending strength. But I think for most of us, there are times during the day, and even people that are struggling, the nurses and the doctors that are working crazy hours and worried, not being able to be around our children, well, then it's important for those that are with our children extra now to be grateful for that time, to use it to reconnect to our children, and because that's what holding space and raising the vibration truly is. We all have an assignment at this time. Your assignment might be as a nurse or a doctor who has to actually deliver physical healing, answers and support in this journey. Some of us are simply here to raise the vibration, to find joy in the small things and know how important it is to focus on that side of things instead of focusing on maybe what you don't have or what you can't get done. Our priorities are shifting because they have to shift. And I think some of us are going to be forced into this different lifestyle. And then we're going to realize we like it. We might realize that life was moving way too fast and we were way too burdened. We worked too many hours. We didn't have enough time with our family. We realize that taking a minute to get off that hamster wheel might make it really, really hard when we have to get back on it. And that sometimes these bigger shifts in energy force us to make changes we didn't have the courage to make. And they're the changes that help us to be the people we truly are instead of the people society needed us to be. Instead of being the husband and the wife or the mother and the father, you just get to be you. You just get to do what you need to do. You realize how you become maybe a slave to your job, maybe a slave to your debt, a slave to your home, the car that you drive. Maybe you are a slave to your children stuck at home. You know, whatever the situation is, wherever there is complacency in your life and wherever you may be taking things for granted, just know the universe is throwing it right in your face right now for you to correct it. And it's not because it's wrong. I mean, these are natural human ways. None of us are wrong for feeling any of the feelings that we feel. We're wrong for ignoring them. We're wrong staying in the confusion, right? We have to start to get the priorities straight, to narrow down all of the distractions that we have in the day, to really start to focus on what matters. It's not, you know, the image that you uphold within your community. It's not about having the best handbag or the best shoes or the best car. You know, things are just changing now. Priorities are changing. And we're realizing that all of those fancy, glittery things that we were chasing and sacrificing all of our time for weren't making us happy to begin with. And that's not even where happiness comes from. And you cannot truly be happy until you are completely vulnerable, truly yourself, one with yourself, and others get to see the inner beauty that you have inside of you. So the universe is working its way through all of those empty spaces that we've filled with things to avoid the pain and the dissatisfaction in our life, and it's healing it. The sun is going to sit on top of Chiron. It is going to help you see all the wounds that you've identified yourself with for all of this cycle, probably 30, 40 years with Saturn. And it's going to point out all the ways in which you've put unnecessary burdens on yourself. And you're going to know that these have to be let go of so that you could step into what you're truly meant to do and how you're truly meant to feel in this lifetime. We have to drop the burdens, and the universe is simply forcing it on us. Let's see if I can get one more card. It also talks to us about reciprocity, equality. Things are changing, and people that held a greater value are going to be leveling out the playing field in some ways. You could see this playing out through the collective when you start to realize that lawmakers, politics, people that we put in place in great leadership, and how much that we rely and appreciate them. It should be no different than the way that we appreciate our ER nurses and our family doctors. shouldn't be any different than the way that we look at the people that bag our groceries and stock our shelves, because they are all such an essential part of our life. The simple things that we take for granted, we have to learn to appreciate. We have to learn to appreciate our families, our time, our love, our connection, the people in our life that maybe they don't add a financial value, but they just simply make you happy. How important these people are that make you feel free and able to be yourself. I really feel like if you could embrace this tough time, and I don't feel like it's going to be as bad as some of us can imagine. I think our main job right now is to really, really hold space and hold hope and know that all of this is happening to us for the greater good. And that no, none of us will come out of this the same, but we'll come out of this better. The growth that you'll feel in the next 6 months will be tremendous. And I wish you all of the hope and all of the strength and all of the love you need to get through it at this time. I'll be seeing you soon. Bye.